Welcome back. So, till now, we have been summarizing whatever we have done so far, and now we'll be continuing. And this will be a video on the management. So, under management, there is firstly the cause should be found and treated, and in case of anemia, we need to treat it, as well as protein and vitamin deficiency should be treated, and also investigation should be done, proper investigation. Transfusion of blood may be given, transfusion can be given, and control of pain. Okay, pain control should be done. Then moving on, we also have to look at we have to give rest, and immobilization should be done, and by doing this we are avoiding trauma. And next, we have to take care of the ulcer, and we need to ulcer cleaning and dressing should be done. Dressing and hydrogen peroxide is used. So firstly, dealing with only this topic, that is ulcer cleaning, under this there is deslowing is done. So there is de-sloughing, and after de-sloughing it can be through mechanical, as well as it can be through the chemical route. And after that, the scissors are used and excising the slough. Post that, what is seen is we can use hydrogen peroxide, that's H2O2, which releases nascent oxygen. So H2O2, it releases nascent oxygen, and because of this oxygen, this acts as a chemical reagent. Now moving ahead, there is also something known as ESOL. So this ESOL is it contains sodium hypochlorite. So what this does is, just like H2O2 releasing oxygen, releases chloride, and after release of chloride, it forms water soluble. It's water soluble complex, and due to this water soluble complex, the slough is dissolved, and use of povidone is also done. Povidone is used, and povidone actually Tone is used, and it is iodine. It is used in ulcer cleaning, and it is and then in case of maggots are present, in maggots in the wound will cause crawling sensation and removed using turpentine solution. Post this, we have removal of granulation tissue, exorbitant granulation tissue, and also again we have the ulcer cleaning that can be performed. And there are many things that can be available during dressing, that is films. Under this there is opsite, semi-permeable polyurethane. There is also hydrocolloids. Under this there is deoderm. There is hydrogels, There is polyethylene oxide with oxygen, ethylene oxide with water. There are hydroactives, and so on. So I'm not going into the detail. Next, there is also topical antibiotics can be given. Under topical antibiotics, they have commonly used is Frammy, Mycetin, silver sulfadiazine, and mupirocin. Well, it is mupirocin. That is a thing. Next, we also have vacuum assisted therapy. Under vacuum assisted closure therapy, it is by the creation of the tent over the wood surface. So you create a tent, and after that you create a negative pressure, and this pressure is by around 25 to 200 Hg, and post that there is a continuous intermittent tent over the wound surface, and after formation of the tent it causes reduced fluid, so decreased fluid in the interstitial space. There is reduced fluid, and after the reduced fluid it decreases the edema as well, and increases the cell proliferation. And what happens is the edema is reduced, and the protein synthesis increased. Matrix synthesis is increased. And after this, the sterile foam is placed, over the ulcer bed, covering widely, and tube drains multiple holes. Then you have a draining tube. Now moving ahead, we can, after a draining tube is used, the tube is connected to a suction system. So again, this is connected to a suction system, and that's how it works. So intermittently, and redressing can be done about redressing is done in about a week time. And then we also have therapy can be done using the infrared, the short wave, or also the UV rays. And by this, what happens is it decreases, the ulcer size decreases, and because of this, the benefits are not proved. Amnion to promote reepithelialization. Okay, so by this, the amnion, it promotes the reepithelialization. That's what is believed. And the chorion, this is the amnion, promotes reepithelialization, and the chorion, what happens is it promotes granulation tissue formation. And post this, antibiotics are not required once healthy is formed. So Okay, then there's also maggot debridement therapy. And under maggot debridement therapy, it is used as a biotherapy, but not commonly. It is placed culture live disinfected maggots, and the maggots are larvae. Maggots used are larvae of green bottlefly, and is also known as green blowfly, and this organism should be known. It is nothing but Lucilia sericata. And then what is to be known is they act as dissolving and engulf the tissue, and they reduce the bacterial content of wound. So they reduce bacterial content, and then what happens is it inhibits bacteria. So inhibit bacteria such as the methicillin resistant bacteria, that is including MRSA, methicillin resistant Staph aureus, and anaerobic and aerobic bacteria. They secrete proteolytic enzymes to have mechanical effects, and then secretion of ammonia alters the ulcer bed, which inhibits. So basically ammonia is given. Because of ammonia, what happens is it inhibits the bacterial growth. Once the ulcer granulation, the defect is closed with secondary suturing. So post that you can do secondary suturing, and post the secondary suturing you can also go ahead with skin graft or flaps. Autologous bone marrow monocytes injection into ulcer area is a new concept also. So what is done is autologous bone marrow monocytes injection. So this is also a new concept that is formed, that is done. So now quickly just recapping what we have done. So we just spoke about the management part in this part. So here management we should know that we should treat the cause of the disease. Then in case of anemia and protein vitamin deficiency, it should be looked up. Then also some investigation should be done. Then transfusion of blood can be given in severe cases. Then pain control should be done, as well as rest and immobilization to be done, so that there is avoidance of further trauma. Then ulcer cleaning and removing of the pus should be done, that is draining. And also the desloughing, that can be mechanical or chemical. Then use of hydrogen peroxide. So what happens is there is oxygen release. This is a chemical reagent. And next is EOSL, and this is basically, it contains sodium hypochlorite, which releases nascent chloride, and this causes water soluble solution, so complex, and this is where the slough is dissolved. Then there is also povidone iodine, which helps in ulcer clearing. There's also maggot therapy, maggot turpentine solution. So here there is a removal of exuberant granulation tissue, and ulcer cleaning is done. There is filming. It includes opsite and semiperm polyurethane. There is hydrocolloid, includes deodorant. There's hydrogels, there's polythene oxide and water, and hydroaction. So next we have the topical antibiotics. Under this there is pramycetin, as well as there is sulfatin, silver, sulfdiazine, as well as mupirocin. Then also there is a concept of vacuum assisted closure therapy. Nothing but a tent and negative pressure is used, and the pressure maintained is 25 to 200 mmHg. There's decrease in fluid in interstitial spaces. There's decrease in edema. There's increase in cell proliferation. So we have discussed decrease in edema. There's protein synthesis increased, and the sterile foam is used in the ulcer bed. Next, there's also a draining tube which is used to drain the pus, and this is connected to a suction machine, and dressing is carried out from 4 to 7 days. Post this, there's also therapy which includes IR and shortwave or UV ray use, and by this the ulcer size decreases. There's also amnion, which it's believed that in this concept the amnion it helps in reepithelialization, and in the chorion it helps in the granulation tissue formation. Then there is maggot deployment therapy. So the maggot larvae of green bottlefly are used, also known as green bowlfly or Lucia. It is known as sericata, and what it does is engulfs the tissue and decreases the bacterial count, and it inhibits the bacteria MRSA, that's methicillin resistant Staph aureus, as well as anaerobic and anaerobic bacteria. Then ammonia, what happens is in this ammonia is produced and it decreases the bacterial growth. And secondary suturing and is done, as well as there is skin graft can be done or flaps. And then there is also autologous bone marrow monocyte injection that is performed, and this is nothing but a new concept. So thank you. In this video we have just covered the management part. It's very important in treating a case of ulcer. So thank you. We shall continue in the next video. Thank you.